I teach because I think that it's the best shot I have to make a difference in the world. I teach because it's what always made sense to me since I was 5. I teach because I'm so excited about learning, about me learning new things, about other people learning new things. I think learning is just like, learning is evolution, and learning is like one of the most amazing things you can give yourself, right? And so I teach because I want to learn. My name is Maya Gatt, and I teach in the Bronx. I've been teaching for 3 years, but this is my first year teaching 4th grade. I've always known that I was going to become a teacher since I was 5. Since I first went to school, I saved all of my homework because I was convinced that I would need to refer to it in order to teach it. And eventually by like 3rd grade, my mom said, "This is ridiculous. We don't have room for all of these files. You're not going to forget how to add. We need to throw them away." So when I turned 18, I decided that I needed to go out into the world and gather experiences, because if I was going to be a good teacher, I would need to be able to relate to all different kinds of people and help them along all different kinds of paths, right? Because not everyone is going to grow up to be a teacher in the Bronx, which is my path, right? So I went out into the world and I did a million things, and I've traveled to, over 30 countries, and I've had over 30 different kinds of jobs just collecting experiences, like Stud Terkel, I don't know how you say his name, but he wrote that bookwork, and I read it when I was 15, and it was really influential, like understanding that different people have different experiences and different lives in different places. A classroom is a microcosm of society, right? And so I have this opportunity as a teacher to help children learn how to create a better version of society by knowing themselves and what they need, and being advocates for themselves, but also by learning how to respect each other and like make sure that other people around them are being treated fairly and be advocates for them as well, right? And how to communicate and problem solve, like all of those pieces where we as grown-ups fall off regularly. In general, I know that there's content and that there's the children, but in general, I feel like the children come first. I feel like a child's sense of self-confidence and self-worth matters more than if they know what a folktale is. I just think that that's more important. And so if I have to cut a little bit of the folktale teaching time or something else that feels not as important as this child who's presently so upset about who they are as a person, I've had children who have come to me and been like, "I'm a bully, that's who I am, I'm just mean." And that's their identity about themselves, right? It's more important to me to spend time with that kid talking about their own self-image than about what colonial America looked like. Like, there are just things that I feel like are more relevant for these kids to move forward and have satisfying lives. Each year I walk in the door knowing so much more than I did the year before, and it's just so palpable. That it's shocking that I was able to be a teacher the year before. Like, what was I even doing? Now that I know so much, how could I have gotten through that year knowing so little? Early on, when I was teaching 2nd grade a couple of years ago, I used Google Earth a lot. I just thought it was a wonderful teaching tool to like put kids in random places in the world and let them walk around with Street View, And we had just come back from exploring Riverdale and looking at all the Dutch architecture, and so I put them in Amsterdam. And I walked away, and like by the 4th step, it occurred to me that I had just left the main group of boys with the largest proclivity for trouble in the middle of a city that's got an enormous red light district. By the 5th step and turning around, there they were. Google Earth, walking around the red light district. What do I wish that I knew before I started teaching? There's a lot that I didn't know in my first year, but I think some like big picture things. I think the adrenaline is something that nobody warned me about. The idea of like that you're physically up and moving and like essentially on stage in a way. There's no downtime as a teacher. There's no like, now I sit at my computer and play on Google for a while. Like, now I make some phone calls to friends because I can take a 15-minute break whenever I feel like it. Like, I've worked in offices before and I've had that luxury and that freedom. there isn't that as a teacher. And I wish someone had told me to take vitamins. I wish someone had told me to take iron pills. I wish someone had told me that there's like ways to sustain your energy amidst all of that adrenaline. This is boot camp. This is hard. The reality of teaching is it's not for everybody. Like, I feel like that's what should draw new teachers, right? The challenge of it. The idea that every single day changes. Every single time you feel like there's floor under your feet, the next day there's not, and you are constantly learning, and you're constantly moving, and you're constantly hopefully helping to make the world a better place. But it is not glamorous, and it is not easy, and it is not all about the summer vacations. And I think that we need more people who are drawn to that idea of, this is going to be my blood, sweat, and my tears regularly, and I'm into it.